Welcome for more Haruhi. The continue of our film is honestly went a lot better last episode, I would say. I mean, we had some mishaps, of course, with the laser coming out and a bunch of other things, but for the most part, some of the sequences that they filmed, you could get it involved in using some powers a little bit, but it actually will make that sequence a little bit more entertaining on screen. We had the one with the pigeons that actually looked like a decent shot, and I honestly thought that the Mikuru stuff, her walking around, could be utilized well. But there's no real like plot or story for this film to continue, so it's going to cause some large issues, I assume, for Kyo trying to edit it all together. I think that there's some solid, background sort of ideas or just things that don't involve the character speaking. So if they can tighten that up a little bit, we might be able to be golden, but we'll see. We'll see where that goes. We're going to Koizumi's place. We're going to the lake. We're going with some background characters now and getting them involved. Maybe in potentially, maybe they're just going to be background within the film. Maybe they're going to be utilized in other ways. I don't necessarily really know, but we're going to play that out and we're going to see how exactly it ends up going. And I'm kind of excited for that. I hope you guys are as well. If you like it all, hit like and subscribe. They do mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Check out the Patreon for early access for the next episode. Without saying too much more, I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get going with episode 23 of Haruhi. I thought it was a lake. Oh, I get. Not really the vibe of what I was expecting, but alright. Sometimes I just forget. Disguise herself as a normal person. Ooh. Magic. Yeah, they won't think twice about it. Action! Brilliant, brilliant. You gotta think brother's hands are hurting, or his arms, for keeping keeping that up the whole time. Oh no. What are you about to do? Yeah, don't worry, we'll send it to you. Don't bump into it and make it destroyed. Did she force it? Well, don't worry, we did something about it. Hey, you should have read a different story. How thoughtful. Wait, is it me make a distraction? Oh. Don't worry, it's just gonna heal. Yeah, we're good. I don't really know what that means, but I don't either. Freak the hell out. Yeah. And Mikuru's end too. Rare for her. Yeah. She gets to be herself.
現実世界に影響を及ぼしているのだと考えられます。
Which is cool and all, but dangerous.
エンドかよ。それでもどちらかを選ばないといけないのだとしたら、僕は続行を選びますね。
朝比奈さんがスーパーウーマンになっちまってもか？
今回のことは新人に比べると小規模です。世界がゼロからやり直しになることに比べたら、単発的な異常現象を何とかする方が簡単なような気がしませんか？
When you do it like that, your issue is the scale of it seems so small.
俺の双剣に世界は重すぎるな。
私なら大丈夫です。なんとか乗り切ってみせますから。
Yeah, I don't have faith in that.
で、ミクルは抵抗できずにボロボロになっちゃうのよ。ミクルはボロボロか。
I love it, love it. Great idea. Let's go. Yeah, we knew this was coming. Use some After Effects to give Kyon a wig or something.
リアリズムのためにはどうしても今この犠牲を払わなければいけないのよ。それにこれはミクルちゃんが乗り越えないといけない壁でもあるのよ。女優として大きくステップアップするチャンス。
She's using everyone for her own entertainment.
おい。
Try to do the right thing and look.
私やります。ミクルちゃんいい。それでこそ私の選んだ団員よ。
朝比奈さん。
せーの。
Awful, but great.
ナムさん。
どうしました？捕まってください。
Yeah, incoming can't film anymore because of getting a cold.
ミクルを救い出したイツキが彼女を自宅にかくまうシーンを撮るわよ。
お前、それじゃ全然繋がらないぞ。
Nothing we've done has.
どうなったんだ？いくらなんでも描写なしじゃ観客は納得しないぜ。
うるさいわね。そんなの撮らなくてもちゃんと見てる人
Just
には。
because your small brain can't comprehend it doesn't mean that everybody else can't.
としたかっただけか。
あのさ、私の家がすぐ近くなんだけどさ、ミクルが風邪ひきそうだから。
Good idea, good idea.
いいかな。ちょうどいいわ。僕たちは。あんたたちはもう帰っていいわ。
Why did we even bring them with us just for them to leave right away?
ミクルがお風呂上がるまでここで待ってて。
I'm getting bad vibes.
猫用の寝室に思えるね。
いい部屋ね。ロケーションはバッチリだわ。そうだ、ツルちゃん、ちょっと思いついたんだけど。
Then falls directly embarrassing Mikuru. I'm sure she's down. The run's activated. Oh shit.
理性を試されている。朝比奈さん、その姿は犯罪です。
はい、これ飲んじゃって。
ナンデル様がまたリビドを直撃です。なぜかもう敷かれている布団に朝比奈さんを横たえ布団をかぶせる。
ミクルちゃん、そろそろ起きて。
やけに色っぽいが、これは演技なのか。
二人、もっと顔を近づけて。ミクルちゃん、
What are you about to make him do? Oh, really? This poor girl.
もういいから押し倒してキスしちゃって。
Koizumi's gonna do it too, because he just wants all this to happen.
待てこら。いろいろはしょりすぎだぞ。てか、なんでこんなシーンがある？なんだこれは。
塗ればよ塗れば。
Yeah, we need some logic.
こういうのを入れておくもんよ。
こんなものが上映されたら、次の日からお前の下駄箱には100単位で呪詛の手紙が舞い込むぞ。
You better fuck everything up. Oh, brother.
おかしくないと言いたいところだが、確かにおかしい。目が潤みっぱなしで、頬も染めっぱなしだし。
おやすみくん、
Hey,
私なんか。
what the hell they put in that water?
まったく、どっかで薬でも盛られたんじゃ。
Yeah, I think so. Well, why did she look so happy?
ジュースに甘酒混ぜといたの。
Just happened to mix
馬
it.
が出るかもって言われてさ。
Who possibly could have asked you to do that?
ミクルちゃんすごく色っぽいわよ。いいからキスしなさい。もちろんマウストゥーマウスで。
やめ
The
ろ。
worst.
僕には荷が重すぎますよ。
Thank you for speaking up, my guy.
朝比奈さんはもう限界のようです。
パキッとしなさい。
あ
練習。
Yeah, because just keep doing it. It'll work eventually.
やめろ。何が練習だ。それを映画のどこに使おうってんだ。
何よ、と めないでよ。どこに使うかなんていちいちあんたに言う必要はないわ。
どうせ何も考えてないんだろうが、適当なこと言ってんじゃねえよ。
You're not wrong.
映画の中身を知らないくせに勝手なこと言うんじゃないわよ。
お前こそ勝手なこと言って朝比奈さんを叩いてるだけだろうが、そんな権利お前にはねえ。
うるさいわね。あんたに何がわかるっていうのよ。これも私の映画にとっては大事な約束事の一つなの。
誰との約束だそれは。つまらん。朝比奈さんはお前のおもちゃじゃねえぞ。
Jeez.
みくるちゃんは私のおもちゃなの。
God. The fuck were you about to do there, brother?
何よ。何が気に入らないっていうのよ。あんたは言われたことしてればいいの。私は団長で監督で、とにかく反抗は許さないから。
話せ小泉。動物でも人間でも言って聞かない奴は殴ってでもしつけてやるべきなんだ。でないとこいつは一生誰からも避けられるようなアホになっちまうんだ。やめてください。
Yeah, not loot at all. Yeah. Where the fuck do we go from here?
キョン君ごめん。調子に乗りすぎたよ。
Absolutely did, but he did too. All parties involved have.
あなたはもっと冷静な人だと思っていましたが。
俺もそのつもりだったさ。
Yeah. You surprised yourself, huh?
鈴宮さんの無意識は自制してくれたようですね。
よかったな、出番が減って。
鈴宮さんの昨日の言葉を覚えていますか？
あんな妄言の数々を一
She don't shut the fuck up. It's kind of.
誰かにペンキでも塗られたのか？
これらの羽は間違いなく彼らの自毛ですよ。
できれば全部白い鳩にしたいんだけど、この際どんな色でも目をつむるわ。
鈴宮さんは誰かから神のごとき力を与えられた特殊な人間である。
以前春日は神だとか言わなかったか？
Something along those lines.
そうでしたか？
ふざけんな。
冗談ですよ。鈴宮さんは世界を構築するものであり、同時に破壊するものでもあります。もしかしたら我々のこの現実は失敗作なのかもしれない。その失敗した世界を修正する使命を持ったものが鈴宮春日という存在なのかもしれない。世界が鈴宮さんによって正しい形に再構築されたとき、我々は果たしてその世界の一部になることができるでしょうか。それともバグとして排除されてしまうのでしょうか。
知らん。
今のこの世界が割と好きなんです。はるか昔から今に至るまでたくさんの人間が積み上げてきた諸々の上に成り立っているこの世界の形を崩したくないのです。
And then it relates to his hesitance
僕たちは鈴
to
宮さんを何とかしようとしているのです。
put a stop to the things that she tries to do.
そうかね。
おや、あなたもそう思ったからこそ閉鎖空間から戻ってきたと考えていたのですが、違いましたか？
さあ、どうだったかな。
Bit of a rough spot. Go on like it's normal.
イライラすることよりしょんぼりすることに忙しいようです。
ああ、なんでかな。
分かっておられるはずですが。
I thought you would get it.
鈴宮さんはあなただけは何があろうと自分の味方をすると思っていたのです。
Yeah.
いろいろ文句をつけつつもあなただけは許してくれるだろうとね。
あいつを許せるのはとうに殉教した聖人くらいだ。
鈴宮さんに元気を出すように言ってもらえませんかね。このまま気持ちが沈み続けると閉鎖空間とは別のもっとひどい事態が起こりそうなので。ネガティブな鈴宮さんが世界に対してどのように干渉するのか想像もつきませんし。
It's not a world I want to see.
元の鞘に戻ってくれればいいんです。
元も何も、俺はそんな鞘に収まっていたことなんてないぞ。
There's nothing to get back with.
朝比奈さんへの暴虐を見かねた俺の善良なる心がそうさせたとも限らない。
To an extent.
何が映画だ言って損した。
まあまあ、これ本当はもっと鈴宮さんたちと遊びたかったんだよ。 他の予定をキャンセルまでしてね。
Aw.
言うなバカ
Yeah, why don't you expose that?
俺はもうあんなくだらないことには一切関わらんからな。映画だとふんどうせゴミみたいなもんになる決まってるぜ。
Alright, don't do that now.
だけは言われたくないぜ。
Yeah.
そんなことは言われなくても想像がついてる。しかしだ、それをお前に言われるのは
Right, I'd rather. Right.
少なくとも春日は文化祭に向けて行動。
She's making the effort as awful as it's turning out.
どんなにくだらんものでもここで文句言ってるお前より作ってる春日の方がはるかにマシだ。
Right.
まったく。
A common perspective from a lot of people. The internet's a strong place to people like that.
鈴宮さんも機嫌悪そうだし、なんかあったの？
血は喧嘩じゃねえの。
Yeah. Everyone sees it.
か。俺も春日の言うがままにヘイコラしてはブツブツ言ってるだけだ。俺がむしゃくしゃするのはつまり谷口の言ったことに腹を立ててる俺自身も谷口と何も変わらんことに。くそ、谷口のゲロハゲ野郎、お前のせいで変なことに気づいちまったじゃねえか。くそ、後で後悔しそうなことをしたくなってきたじゃねえか。くそくそ。
Aww. Just put her hair up. So that's what he likes, right?
この映画は絶対成功させよ
Thought you would never ask.
当然よ。
And back at it again.
こうは約束されてるの。あんたに言われるまでもないわよ。
う。なんちゅう単純さだ。ま、元気のない春日なんて不気味なものを見るくらいならこの方がマシだ。
行くわよ。
I'm glad it's back. I kind of wish we had more of a...
他に言いようはなかっ
Yeah, I kind of wish there was a little bit more like actual discussion between why each person felt the way they did, but
なんて都合がいいのかしら。桜の絵が欲しい。
everything's just perfect now. Oh, surprise, surprise.
はい、そこで決めポーズ。そうだ、猫を捕まえましょう。
猫。
魔女には使い魔がいるのよ。猫が一番しっくりくるわ。どっかに黒い猫落ちてない？
長門の初期設定
Look behind you, there probably is.
じゃなかったのか？
いいから猫よ。
What we need now is a cat.
野良猫でいいからどこか集まってるような場所知らない？
I like how all the episodes don't feel episodic. Like they feel like they just fit into a singular arc, and we're just cutting them at random points almost. I weirdly like that. I don't know. A very tense episode with arguments coming in and potential fallouts of relationship that gets patched up, of course, by the end, because why would it not find itself to do so? But very different, the tone, at least, in comparison to previous ones that we've had, or even throughout the entirety of the series, which I think is good. It's much needed almost to get something along those lines. And while I think it falls short in certain aspects of not necessarily getting the proper and open dialogue almost needed, sometimes things are better left unsaid at points. I don't think this is an example where that is the case, but maybe in the way that their relationship itself turns out, it is. Because it likely does seem too that the subtle things almost that we're getting in terms of like Haruhi or the, you know, beings and things like kind of not appearing due to her depression and everything that she's kind of going through right after this argument that they run into, it almost is utilized as like the indication of like, hey, she is not well right now, but she's not well in a sense that she's trying to change things utilizing like these made up like abilities and powers or things kind of within her head that are like manifesting this sort of thing. And it instead feels like she's trying to recall and think back to these sort of things to make you a little bit like happier and get you to maybe open up a little bit and want to speak to her. I don't necessarily know if she's utilizing this, like say the ponytail thing, for example, as a way to be like on his good side and get him to be like, okay, everything's all good. And as a way to like move past it, it almost feels like a symbol of like, I apologize. Let me do this thing that I know you'd like. And then maybe it creates a dialogue that can kind of continue between the two. It doesn't necessarily play out that way, which is why I would have liked the the conversation between the two of them about the issue that they ran into and why they actually had this sort of argument, that you can't just go kind of forcing people to drink alcohol and basically drugging them against their will and throwing them into, lakes and all this other stuff. You can't really do any of that sort of stuff. And we don't get that, but it makes me weirdly, it makes me feel like she knows that and she's aware of why he was angry and what's kind of going on and why she was doing what she was doing, but why he felt the way he did. And she's just trying to look for ways to open that kind of dialogue between the two. And although it goes left unsaid, it just feels like that to me. And maybe I'm overlooking it or giving her too much of a pass or doing whatever, because I think that she is flawed in the way of a person, that she needs to be largely criticized for a lot of the stuff that she does. And we talked about that early into the first few episodes and the things that she was almost forcing Asahina to do. And now getting that once again here, it's a little different because we get sequences like the lake or even like the kiss sequence and all those sort of things where it's not against her will, right? These are things that she said, okay, do this, or she was leaning into and kind of being okay with at the time. And I know one of them came from her literally being directly intoxicated and not fully being present. So you can't really be like, oh, she actively wanted this. But we have shown at multiple points, and even we get throughout this with Koizumi kind of pulling away. If people speak up and are on her side to do something, she is even more eager to do so. If people speak against it, and more than one person, not just Kyon, the constant person who's trying to shut it down, if we have others who are speaking against these things, she seems to kind of listen to them. She gets a little annoyed, of course, by it, but will kind of comply. So it makes me a part of me wants to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you for doing this and thinking it's okay to constantly hit her on the head and do whatever. But part of me also wants to be like, she's aware when other people reject those things and push back against her, not just Kyon, because when he does it, she kind of doesn't really listen. Because I think, as Koizumi kind of put it, he's the person who always seems to be on her side with things. And even when he's against it, he's the one person that she can almost rely on that will come back or kind of comply with the things that she's trying to do down the line, as opposed to maybe just being against it in that direct moment. So I think that's why when other people speak up in that moment, she's always she listens a little bit more, it feels like. I don't know. It's just this weird thing that I'm struggling to want. I want to get angry at things that she's doing, but at the same time, I feel like I can understand it a little bit. And it might just be me giving the benefit of, age, and also just the fact that we know a little bit about her, not really having a lot of friends and people going around her, and her social cues and stuff aren't really the strongest out there either. There's a lot that she kind of has at play that she needs to continuously work through, that we need to see improvement on, of course, but I don't know how much I can bash her for these things. It's just, I wish that there was more of that open dialogue that I was saying, that afterwards they did have that discussion of him being like, you can't just go drugging people. We just can't do that. You need to understand these are things that don't go well. It almost feels like a person who you're like, why are you doing this? And she's like, well, because nobody ever told me it was a bad thing to do so. That's how I feel when it comes to her for some reason. I want to give her that benefit that she just in her own head is operating under what she's been told and hasn't been told before. And that's why she does the things that she does. She realizes this is an opportunity to get ahead and get the advantage in the things that she wants. I mean, we saw earlier in the season with the blackmail and the other things that she's kind of done, and the willingness almost of, not willingness, but the fact that she's able to constantly do these awful things to Asahina, that while she makes the noises and the things that you're like, she clearly doesn't want you to do it, she's not verbally or vocally, I guess, telling you no, or pushing back against it. So it's a hard line almost to kind of draw, for nobody has directly told her you can't just do this to people, and express to her or showing her the bad side and the consequences and the things, and she's kind of figuring out what works and just running with it. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking, and that's why I'm struggling so much to just be hating her as a person or character or whatever it is, because that's what I at least have in my own head of what's going on here. And maybe I'm going to continuously run with that, and I already am, and maybe I'm not supposed to feel those sort of ways, or it's not right of me to do so. But that's where I've kind of gotten the read on her through all these episodes so far, that it makes it almost a little bit more it makes me a little more lenient in regards to what she's doing. So I don't know. I do wish that we got that slightly, but I think it was much necessary that he did blow up directly on her for being in the situation that they were and the way that he was kind of treating her and acting out and not realistically having a sort of thing where everybody knows what's going on. These are things that also should have been, in the spoken dialogue between the two of them to be like, you need to express this to all of us so we can be on the same page, understand what's going on with the story, and we can maybe like bounce ideas off of each other or elevate the ideas that you are having. Like there's potential a lot of the way there that goes unrealized because they don't actually have these talks, which I kind of really wish were in there. But it leads us to his realizations, of course, at the end, that he's just following along with what everybody else is kind of doing, similar to how his boy was doing it. He's not realistically presenting these ideas. He's pushing back against all of her feelings towards the film and pointing out the issues, making those constant complaints about these things, but not realistically offering a solution or doing anything that is helping either. He's just kind of being moved along with it. And it's offering this consistent opinion that has been something that over the years gets worse and worse, especially with the internet, of people making complaints about, how things should have been or how they would have done things instead. Or, I even just did so. With how I would have added extra dialogue scenes to the, the argument and stuff, or prior to the makeup that they end up having, right? It's the same sort of thing. You like place these almost complaints, or you direct your anger towards certain things without actively being involved, without actively being the change that you want to see, without participating in any sort of meaningful way, which is exactly what he's doing, right? I want to tag along for this movie and see it, but all I'm going to do is talk about how shit it is and criticize you guys constantly. I'm going to complain about how nobody's going to want to see this thing at the festival. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? What is your class doing? What are you doing to help out with that? What are you like? You're not providing any sort of value in any sort of meaningful way besides being negative, which is a lot of the time what we get, right? We even get that in regards to things like this, like me doing what I'm doing on this channel, right? People occasionally come in, leave comments completely against the idea that like I might feel a type of way towards a series or not enjoy something nearly as much as I should have. Or, those people, there's a lot of people who get angry sometimes, like, cause I'm talking over a sequence, or maybe I find things funny or I laugh a little bit because things emotionally don't connect to me at the same sort of level that maybe it did for you. So my way of getting through it is just kind of seeing the light in it and laughing a little bit as things kind of continue. Whereas you might have been sitting there sobbing the whole time. And it's just like, sorry, we don't have that same sort of connection. Sorry, it didn't work out that sort of way, but you don't need to tell me that, like, completely harass me in a way because of that, right? And that goes for everybody else in all sorts of forms of content. You can respectfully disagree, but calling out without properly, like, even providing in those sort of situations too, like your own reasoning for why it made you feel the type of way that you did, or trying to see it from the perspective of how somebody else could see it from a different way or feel and react a certain sort of way too. It's just like a never really being on that page or being properly constructive or offering any sort of value besides just being angry at the world without providing much, right? If you want people to have that sort of reaction that you should have, maybe you should be the one putting it on camera and putting it out there too, right? Like there's levels to it like that I think sometimes people just aren't able to connect on or see and remove themselves from themselves and actively look at all sort of perspectives involved. Which is something I do actively try to do here, which I don't think I always do a good job at. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. My example for this would just be the Haruhi situation of what I just said, of me trying to see it from the perspective of like her age and the way that she came up and why she views things or does things in certain ways, while they maybe not necessarily actively told to us. That's the way that I'm kind of perceiving these things, and that's why I'm acting out or viewing her character and her as a person in a sort of light that other people may not, right? Like these are just ways that I think like provide a little bit more use, that if our friend here actually was doing something along those lines besides just criticizing it and going against those people and the product that somebody was trying to be very proud of and working hard on, it would be a different story, and we didn't end up getting that. So I don't I don't know. There's multiple ways I think for us to look into this stuff. That's the big moments throughout this. We skip the OP. We use a little bit of powers here to break the gates open, and we get to filming all the way here. There's not a ton of like specific standout moments, I think, outside of the things that I directly talked about. I like how Ari just runs with the ideas though. And that's what I like. Like she doesn't have everything planned out, and she doesn't want to openly admit that she doesn't to anybody. And that's probably her reluctance to express that of like this is exactly the script or like whatever it is that she has, and she's just kind of going with it and whatever feels right for her in that moment, which is why something like this, Yuki just tackles her and she's like, hold on, this could work, right? Let's go with this, let's do something. And she's just more operating on the fly, and it works out to an extent at certain points, right? We were able to get different sequences that happen just because of being so free almost. We create a distraction, gets a little bit more destroyed, and it leads us to needing to do something else. We send the other guys directly home, and we have a little bit of a discussion about the ways of the world and stuff, right? We are actively here in this world. The Koizumi really likes it. He expresses that a little later too. Like, I kind of would like to be the people involved here actively making that change as opposed to just fucking everything up. And that's where he's coming from and his reasoning for letting her do the things that she's doing, whether he agrees or doesn't with it. Maybe we need to allow those things to happen a little bit more. Even the water sequence, it's like we shouldn't do this as much as you're outspoken about it. If she says that she's okay with it, we kind of got to let her do it. Such a strange area to be in. Like, it's just a normal home, but just the shading that we're doing throughout and the utilization of the background music just really amplifies the sequence so much more. All throughout this whole episode, the usage of music was great. I think making us feel kind of uncomfortable, at least me personally. Slip something in the drink, push things a little bit too far, Kyun completely blows up, and then when you just attack the girl, it just gets continuously worse. Like, you shouldn't be acting out and doing this, but I get exactly where he's coming from and why he's doing what he is and how much that must hurt, right? Something that you're passionate about, excited about, and doing, but also coming from the person that you probably view yourself to be closest to, the person that you trust, as Koizumi said, the person that she always expected to almost be on her side with these things. He's the one who has been willingly letting her drag him into like all these different situations throughout, and while he puts up like a complaint on occasion and isn't always for it, he still willingly does it and puts up with the things that she's never had anybody else who has. So he's very special to her. We've talked about before, like, why is he here in this situation? Who is he? Why is he an ordinary person that she seems to have no interest in but allows him to be close to her? What is his own positioning? It's the almost wishful makeup of like, I want to have this type of being near me, which is weirdly what it feels like he is, right? This person that she is like, I almost summoned you or created you as the person to do so. And it would work well in a theory of like, if that is the case, he goes along with all these things that she wants, but at the same exact time, he can provide meaningful pushback like this that causes kind of breakups in what their relationship is, that then allow them to come back together to maybe understand each other a little bit more, keep her on more of a straight path from going and destroying everything within the world completely too. I think that works out completely. It's something we talked about in the earlier episodes because it was a little bit more of a theme to bring up, especially in that first arc, but now it's still making plenty of sense to me. Have your proper balance consistently around you here. Have our talk about the ways of the world, open his eyes up a little bit more as we get to see the the white birds and everything there too. Which just references exactly where we're about to be going forward with the cherry blossoms showing up and just being overly awful and negative in this conversation that they have. And it allows him to wake up for the first time what it feels like and realize like, shit, I'm kind of in the same position as you. I'm just making these complaints and I'm not really doing anything about it. I'm not really involved in more of a way. It should probably lead that change a little bit more. So let's put on a great performance. Let's do something that'll make people like you shut the fuck up. Which is great. I think this is the cutest thing. I love the general idea of like this. I think in a romance element, without placing a ton of focus directly onto it, it works perfectly. It's a subtle thing that they've talked about in the past before, that she has made the appearance with it before, and now to bring it back, to know that it is something that he enjoys, and her looking at herself or even thinking about like, I should put my hair like this or I should do whatever, is like a way to like look more appealing to him when you try and work up the courage to talk to him or open the doors a little bit for him to want to speak to you or whatever it is. I think it is super sweet. And I like that a lot. It's something that it's going to stick with her. We've passed a lot of time in the show, but she still consistently will remember this, of course. And her embarrassment almost that she lets it down. As soon as he comes in, doesn't want to look at him at all. And then even after he like says it, like, let's fucking finish this, she takes a few seconds to just sit there before she turns around. It's like she's super excited, but like has to suppress it a little bit. So she turns around and she's like, all right, let's do it. It's cute. I like it. Can't cover this up. You're letting these shits bloom in the middle of the fall. Yeah. And then we cut, which is what I was saying in the outro. I like a lot. We're letting it progress like we are in an arc, like something that would be comprised into a movie, as opposed to a thing that's like supposed to be episodic, which I think works if it's just doing these random cuts as opposed to like really intriguing like cliffhangers or transitions into new episodes. It transitions us in a way of like, this is the new area and the next goal that we're going to kind of be after, but it doesn't like work in a way that I think like really builds up hype for where they're going for the next episode. But instead it just like is continuation, like from conversation to conversation or scene to scene. So I think it's cool, and I'm excited for us to continue this one on. I didn't think they were as long. I actually thought that this was going to be only like 3 or 4 parts, and the fact that we're still on this part and still doing it, and we got plenty more episodes to go. I wonder how long we're going to end up going with it, but I am excited. I'm happy. I don't know how many episodes it's going to be, because I think that's a good thing. I think it's nice to not actually know when we're supposed to hit that end point. I will say, I think next episode will probably be the last one for it, because it just makes sense. Like, we have our big hurdle that we're getting over, the tension that's kind of been built up of like, things aren't really going well for the past few episodes, to now be in a positive mindset of like, all right, we're going to allow things to go good, and now creating these sequences like the blooming of these trees and the doves and everything kind of appearing. It's like we're turning the page on like, things are going to finally start going our way. So I think next episode we'll wrap up filming fully. Whether we see it next episode or that's the one after, I don't know. I would assume probably the one after we'll do the festival or whatever, but I do think that's a good way for them to kind of go about and approach this. So I'm excited for where we're headed. It's going to be all from me. I appreciate you joining me. Thank you guys very, very much. If you liked it, I'll hit the like and subscribe. Not to me, feel free to check out the video on the channel, as well as check out the Patreon for early access for more on this, as well as other series. Hope you guys have a absolute great one, though. I'll see you next time. Peace.